talking Bills and Packers. We are back. We had weddings, we had traveling, we had working, we had all kinds of things, but we're back and we've got a ton of NFL news to discuss. But first and foremost, welcome back, DVD. It's great to have you back.
We had Pearl Jam concerts too.
Yes, we had Pearl Jam concerts.
I'm sorry. I had to pick between my two loves. You guys are Pearl Jam, and unfortunately for you, Eddie Vedder won.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of a tough. I don't know how we can compete with that, Brian.
I can't sing like that, man. I can tell you that much.
Yeah.
Probably
can't move like him either.
No, I'll give you that,
Probably.
So, DVD, I was sad that we missed you because I wanted to get your live reaction to my prediction that the Minnesota Vikings are going to win the NFC North.
Oh,
yeah.
I heard that, and I was not a fan of that comment, but okay.
Well, I don't feel as good about that prediction after them getting absolutely annihilated by the Philadelphia Eagles on Monday Night Football.
Yeah, that was bad.
Yeah, that was bad. Listen, I just took it as the Packers were like that week one last year. Like it was the Aaron Rodgers show leading into it, and they buckled underneath the Saints. And this year, that's how I felt about it. I was just like, I'm going to completely ignore that it's actually the Vikings because that pained me deep down in my core that they actually like just ran us over. But I think it was just week one. I think it was just week one. And if last year is any indication, I'm still very confident that we're going to win. Very confident.
I think that's a great transition into talking about the Green Bay Packers, who turned around and got a big win on Sunday Night Football, 27-10 over the rival and not very good Chicago Bears, despite a week one win over the San Francisco 49ers. This was an interesting sort of outcome because there were things about this win that I felt really good about. For instance, I thought after a rough start to the game, the defense settled in really nicely. And it's like Justin Fields is still, for all intents and purposes, a rookie quarterback who is learning his way around the NFL. And
I mean,
you should dominate him.
7 for 11. I mean, that's good enough for a quarter, but like, we can talk about the Bears after it continues. Sorry, but I just had to throw that in.
In my head, I was like, Brian's going to jump in on this.
Yeah.
But like, you should dominate them.
You should, but like, yeah, we'll come back to Fields.
And I tweeted this out from the Department of Obvious. If this offense is going to have success, Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon are going to have to be massive parts of it, because while those two guys had a big game, Aaron Jones in particular, and while Rodgers made some nice passes to Sammy Watkins and Alan Lazard, you still see some hesitancy with the young receivers. You still like they're running like go routes with Christian Watson, and it's like, okay, that's nice that he can do like a little flip pass to him and stuff like that, but he's looking off those young guys. And if this team is gonna do anything, win anything, he's gonna have to get over that. You're gonna have to get over that.
Yeah, give them literally out of the 5 notes I wrote in preparation for this, the very first one in big letters is like, get the ball to Aaron Jones and
yes,
just give them the ball. You have no one to throw to, so let's just leave it at that. I'm sure you covered that last week, and I know you covered that week because I listen when I'm on my days off. But like, you have to get these guys the ball and they also. That, and I think they also need a good edge rusher. I know they have like some good, wide receivers, but some good running backs now, but they need some like really competent edge rushers. I don't know. They're gonna have to make some trades during the season.
Brian, do you want to talk about Justin Fields? Because they did look really good against the Bears offense, but it's the Bears offense.
I know. And like the first quarter drive too, like it actually in the first quarter looked like the Bears might win that game, which was kind of funny to start. But I mean, like Justin Fields, I don't know, like if you're only throwing the ball 11 times, Like that shows you that your coach has zero confidence in what you can do in the air. And on a year 2 quarterback, when you played in the entire year last year, that's a little concerning. Like you got to, like even Mac Jones is airing it out more than that. He had 200 plus yards in his last game. So the fact that Fields can only throw the ball 11 times and complete 7 of them, that's just kind of embarrassing, really.
Do you blame him for that, or do you blame Eberflus? Because like I look at the Bears and I'm like, just let him throw the ball. Like you guys, you're the worst team in the division. I think they're worse than the Lions.
Oh yeah,
they're the worst. They're the worst team in the division. It's just like, just let him throw the ball. If he throws 8 picks, he throws 8 picks. It's the only way he's going to learn.
Yeah, I think that's what they're scared about.
Yeah,
the Packers defense for once is actually really good. Like they were really awesome last year. They definitely built this year, and I think they're just terrified on the turnovers because the Pack defense will turn the ball over.
And like Fields too, like he rushed the ball 8 times and got 20 yards total, which is like, he's supposed to be a mobile quarterback. So he had nothing yesterday. If they didn't have Montgomery, they literally wouldn't have scored a single touchdown in that game.
Yeah.
Cause he got them everywhere.
First drive. And I was like, oh my God, they're going to lose to the Bears.
But I mean, Montgomery like ran half that drive.
Yeah. Well, that's what they're going to have to, I don't know. The Bears, you guys, you're clearly the worst team in the North. Just on offense, who cares? Punt the season. You have to make Justin Fields work. You have to. This is turning into talking Bears, but like you have to make Fields has to work. Like he has to work. So punt the season. Let the kid throw the ball. If he throws 800 picks, he throws 800 picks. It's the only way he's going to learn.
Yeah.
Right?
Rob, how do you feel about that young, was that Romeo there, that 22-year-old?
I think.
How are we liking him?
I still feel the same way. I said this. I said that Romeo. I said this to Brian 2 weeks ago. I think we're going to have to just accept as Packer fans that until about the end of October, this offense is going to be really streaky. And part of that is because I don't think Rodgers trusts these kids, and Romeo Doubs is one of them. Like he a ton of upside. Talk to me in 4 years. And he could very well be a superstar receiver in the league. But right now it's like, there's going to be drops, and he's going to have mental blocks, and Rodgers, I don't know. I just think Aaron Rodgers, regardless of how good these kids are, I just think Rodgers is like, I don't have time for you to screw this up. So I'm going to throw to Sammy Watkins over throwing to my 2 young superstar wide receivers, because we don't have time to, because it's what I said to you guys earlier. If the Packers are going to win anything, these young kids have to be major focal points of the offense. And I just don't see it with Aaron. I just don't see it. Like if they get into a desperation situation where they need to win a game to get in or something, or in a playoff game, then I could see him maybe just throwing caution to the wind or whatever. But like a huge issue in that loss to the Vikings is he's just holding on to the ball, because he's like, I'm not throwing it to you. I'm not throwing it to you kids. And one thing we know about Aaron, he cares about his stats. So
but he's gonna have to let that go eventually. Like you can't win games on your own. What did Giselle say about Brady? My husband can't throw the ball and catch it too.
Oh, her famous tweet. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
100%.
It's the same thing here with Rodgers. He's gonna have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable on the field.
Oh, we're in agreement on that. I just don't have any. The guy's ego is the size of Lambeau Field. Like I don't see him shedding it until he absolutely has to. I just don't. Like,
well, I mean, his walk-in videos first day of the season that shows you his ego right there. That was one of the funniest videos I've ever seen.
You see it with Sammy Watkins. Like Sammy Watkins' best days in the NFL are behind him, right? And like he still has some to give. Don't get me wrong, but I would not call Sammy Watkins at this point in his career a top receiver in the NFL. And Rodgers is just like, I'm throwing the ball to you. Like if Jones and Dillon and Lazard aren't available, it's going to you. Like it's just, and to his credit, Watkins made some nice plays against the Bears. But yeah, this is like the thing about the Vikings loss that was so concerning was the offense is going to need a long time to iron out these kinks, and the defense has to hold them in it. And so you can't let, like, they're playing the Bucs this Sunday. Like, Mike Evans is suspended. We'll talk about the brawl as we get towards the end of the show. But like, Mike Evans is suspended, so that's one less thing for them to worry about. But it's like you can't go into these games like the Vikings. They let Justin Jefferson run all over them. It's like you knew going into the game that Justin Jefferson was going to be Kirk Cousins' number one target, right? So you just, I don't know. This is going to be. I'm trying so hard. When I watch them, I literally sit there like this. Just be patient. Just be patient. Be zen. Be calm. Let them work through it.
I remember those days. It also helps when you have a younger quarterback through those days, but I don't mean to jab anybody right now.
No, my goodness.
No, that's my concern about this whole thing is that, to Rob's point about his ego and everything like that, it's because he wants to win. Because I coming back next year, and then what?
I don't know.
That's
what do we think about, before we move on to the Bills, what do we think about this Sunday's matchup against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? I think having Mike Evans not available is a very nice thing to break, a very nice break for the Packers.
Yeah,
but
and Brady's looked, he hasn't looked great to start the year either. So it's kind of the time right now to get that win.
Brady's got some personal issues, right?
It seems that way.
On the field.
He looks gaunt. Like, he looks like he's lost. Like, he looks sick.
He looks like he lost 20 pounds just in his face. Like, his face is so skinny. He definitely got a nose job. Like, that's super obvious. But, like, his face is so skinny.
It is.
Brian Chalk, football extraordinaire in TMZ.
You wonder why he missed 11 days in training camp? He was getting that nose job done.
Yeah, he was letting his face,
Yeah.
I know.
And him and Giselle are living apart. Giselle are living apart. Well,
I've been hearing that.
All right, here's my thing. I've been my mother who watches every single one of these episodes, God bless her, is the biggest diehard Tom Brady fan on this earth and has been since he came into the league. And so we've been texting back and forth about his personal issues. And the guy just signed a broadcast deal with Fox for $1 gazillion. Like, we know this is officially his last year in the league. Let him just relax, Giselle, and let him play one more season.
Sure. I also have no time for the back and forth. I'm retiring, I'm not retiring. Everyone sent you a nice gift basket. You got your edible arrangements delivered. Just fucking eat your fruit and be happy at home.
Exactly. I wouldn't give him any more gifts.
Something on Instagram, just being like, "Thanks for the memories, Tom," when he was drunk with his avocado tequila, and I was like, "I take it back."
Yeah.
So
I never did. I just said, "Eat some shit, there, Tom. Get out of here." Terrorized me my whole life.
Yeah.
How do we feel about this Sunday? I'm still, even though Mike Evans isn't there, I'm still worried because the last time the Packers went to Tampa 2 years ago, they got the doors blown off. They lost
that defense in Tampa Bay. Oh,
yeah,
that's a scary defense.
Very.
Yep, they're the exact type of defense that gives Rodgers problems. The offensive line, even though they had Elton Jenkins back on Sunday night, the offensive line is still kind of spotty, and they need huge games again from Jones and Dillon to open up the passing game for Rodgers, because if they can't get the run going, those Buccaneers pass rushers will feast on Aaron, and it'll be one of those every God. Yeah. You know when they don't, the Packers are such a funny team. And next time you watch them, you can tell in the first two drives how the game's going to go. They come out, and because Aaron Rodgers, he gets criticized and called a lot of names. One of the names he gets called that I actually agree with is he's a front runner. If he comes out and their offense is cooking early and he can get some points early, he settles right in and he gets in a rhythm and whatever. If they come out in the first two drives and he's under pressure and they're knocking him off his spot and he's getting sacked, it's over. Game's over. I don't care if we get to halftime and the Buccaneers are up 6-0. Game's still over because he won't be able to recover from not being able to settle into his groove early.
Yeah. No, I agree. And minor details too. Their special teams need to get it together as well. Like I think that's going to be a good too.
Rich Bisaccia. They brought in Rich Bisaccia to clean that up.
2021 was a down year for them, and like let's get it together.
Yeah, that magical kicking day, that was something else.
Yeah.
With Mason Crosby, that was a day to remember for you guys.
I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah. Thank you, Brian.
Let's move on and talk about our other team that we like to cover here on this podcast, Brian's Buffalo Bills, the juggernaut Buffalo Bills.
Brian loving the apple turnovers.
What is there even to say? Like, you know what? It's week 2. I obviously would never want to wish away the football season ever, but this has to come down to the Bills trying to slay the dragon of the Kansas City Chiefs at some point in the playoffs. Yes?
Oh, yes. Yeah, it has to be. Like, we'll get to Miami later because they're concerning to me, but like it's definitely the Chiefs that we got to slay. But I mean, just to start, like the Bills. So in the last 7 games, the Bills have scored an opening drive touchdown. I wonder how long that's going to continue because, as you said about Rodgers, like Allen kind of needs that to get his groove going, and but that's kind of an insane record, 7 games in a row. And then like Reggie Gilliam, did you see his fullback touchdown in the first quarter there?
Man, that game, that was the Titans had a nice little drive early on, and then after that it was good night Irene for the Tennessee Titans.
And like talking about defense, the Bills defense is extremely good this year. Like how much, like what Von Miller's added to this team is, I wasn't expecting that because of his age, but it's quite something. And like
very impressed. Even in week 1, I was like, I didn't think much of him, to be honest, until this year.
You know the thing about Von Miller though is he's still got some gas in the tank, but like the intangibles that a veteran guy like that brings into your dressing room,
especially for like an Ed Oliver. Like Ed Oliver can learn from this guy as someone who's like rushing the quarterback every play.
Exactly. And he just sort of settles everyone down. If something gets away, like yesterday, like the Titans go down and score, and it's all good. It's okay. Like we're gonna settle in. We're gonna make these adjustments, and we're gonna win this game. And they not only won the game, they whooped the Titans' ass.
Yep.
And they are how much if they lose 3 games this year, I'll be shocked.
I mean,
knock on wood for you, Brian. Knock on wood.
There's always like even last night, like Allen made a few of his mash all the buttons sort of throws that could have gone the other way, but but that being said, like him and Diggs, those 2 guys, holy shit! Like I've never seen a connection like that before. And like, imagine being a Minnesota Vikings fan. You're like, we let go of Diggs. We could have had Diggs and Jefferson on the same team. Like,
yep,
that must kill them every day. But like, Diggs had 148 yards by himself.
Yeah,
with 3 TDs.
Side note on the Vikings, that would be great to have Diggs and Jefferson together, but when you've got Kirk Cousins throwing the football, it would be just a waste. Yeah, it'd be a waste. Like if they drafted Allen over in Minnesota with that pairing, like imagine how many Super Bowls right now they'd have. Oh my God, yeah.
Not many, Brian. Not many.
No,
true.
Yeah,
they'd have to go through the frozen area of Green Bay.
Yeah, the frozen tundra.
Yeah, but I mean, like Allen and Diggs, that second touchdown pass where he just aired it out like 50 yards over his head. Yeah. That throw, like, that got me going watching that spiral. It was so tight and just like snapped, like not even that high in the air, just whipped it 40 yards.
He's insane. Josh Allen is insane. He's like manufactured in a lab. He's if you could create a football player, you would create Josh Allen. Like
100%.
He is like, and you know what I love about the Bills too is they just let him go out there. Like it's what I was saying about Justin Fields a few minutes ago. Like just let him sling it around. Like, and that's what they let Allen do. If Allen goes out there and he throws a pick, oh well. Like go out again, try the same play again.
We'll score on the next drive. Yeah.
I love about them. But I know. Sean McDermott deserves a ton of credit for just letting that vibe like permeate through the team.
Oh, he created that vibe. Like the first year he came in, they made the playoffs. So like he's just had a great record. I'm just so excited. Like even Alan, he only had to run one time.
Excited.
I'm just so excited.
Twinkle in your eye when you said that. I'm so
Yeah.
excited to drink my mafia juice and slam
Yeah.
the tables this season.
Mafia juice.
Like tables beware, because like it's so they let all the kids like in the surrounding area of the stadium off early from school yesterday. Like they had a half day just so they can
I heard
party
that.
for the Bills.
Oh my god, that's
Like-
fantastic.
But I mean, did you see the who was that? Dane Jackson, that injury?
Oh, that was
So
Yeah.
he's okay now. He's been released with no injuries. But like looking at that, I was like, oh, it's like football is actually super dangerous. Like,
I
Well,
saw
you-
that. I was like, this guy will never walk
yeah, it's like his
Well,
spine is gone.
done.
Trey Lance literally stood up on his
Yeah,
foot, and then just fell back down to the ground, and his ankles like turned like this.
which is
Yeah.
crazy.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
I mean, just one more. Like Allen was hitting everybody yesterday. He wasn't just like Diggs had like 12 targets for all those yards, but like he also targeted like 8 different guys in the game, and
Yep.
like mainly all of them made catches. Like Jake Comaro, who the hell's this guy? He's making catches for the Bills now.
Ex-Packer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he made some solid
welcome.
2 catches, 50
Yeah.
yards. I'll take that. Thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome, Brian.
Yeah.
Okay, so talk to me about the showdown with the Dolphins this
Well-
weekend. The Dolphins, I had money on the Dolphins last weekend, and I was like, oh well, this is halftime rolled around, and I'm like, well, this is over, and nope.
Thing is, like Baltimore's defense is okay. Like the Bills' defense is much better, and like they can go shot for shot with that any day on offense, as we saw in the AFC. So I don't know. Like there's a lot of hype on Tua right now. I don't see it lasting. Like I haven't seen Tua be consistent before, except for Alabama, but that's not fair. Like you can't.
So you're not a member of Tuanon.
Tuanon, like I know of Tuanon. I can't say that I've drank the Kool-Aid there for Tuanon, but I know the community is quite fierce.
Don't
I
drink
don't-
the Kool-Aid.
I don't really
those
wanna-
situations never end well.
No,
No,
no, they
They
don't.
don't. They don't.
Right.
All right. Well, we can do a little around the league. We'll each pick a game this weekend. I'm gonna say we've already talked about Packers and Bucks and Bills and Dolphins. So let's stay away from those. I want a non-Packer or Buck game or Bills game, excuse me, that you're gonna have your eye on this weekend. But before we do that, what is something that has had us through 2 weeks has just shocked you, or you're like, wow, I didn't see that coming, or I like just first thing that comes to mind, not to steal one of yours, is the debacle in Denver
Yeah.
with Russell Wilson and Nathaniel Hackett. Like the
Oh.
home fans booing them.
Yeah.
And
On the
do you hear them
weekend.
counting down the play clock as
Yes.
they like just to help them out?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's-
That was a rough welcome or non-welcome home party.
2 weeks ago with Brian, I predicted that Russell Wilson would win the MVP. I would like to go back and pretend like I never said that.
Yeah, I made some predictions that were not correct either, as you know, Rob. the Raiders are not great.
No.
No, I was all about the Raiders last season, I think, for the first 5 weeks. And I was
Yeah,
like,
you were.
I'm taking it back. I'm taking it all
Yeah,
back.
they're not great. Devontae Adams is just catching pity touchdowns now. It's not great.
Yeah. And so much hype, too. It's like Derek Carr,
I know.
Devontae Adams, reunited again. And like
Hunter Renfro.
Well, it's like, listen, I get Devontae's logic for wanting to leave because he was like, I'm not going to sign long term here if Rodgers is just going to retire in 2 years.
Yeah.
But it's like, dude,
What if you win 2 Super Bowls?
Derek Carr is not Aaron Rodgers.
No.
Not even close.
Like you have a much better chance of winning a Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers than Derek Carr.
Yes.
Regardless of their
Just sign
team
a
or defense.
one-year deal.
Yeah, even if the Packers have a horrible defense, you have a way better chance of winning there. Like Carr will he'll cart all over the place. Like he's gonna put his stink on anything.
Yes. All right, let's
Derek
get back here. DVD, we'll start with you. What is something that has just surprised you, caught you off guard, didn't see coming through 2 weeks?
Just the caliber of play for the first 2 weeks and the amount of games that went to overtime. Like that, it's such a small thing, but I was like, are these people all still right now. Like,
Yeah.
And
almost
come from behind wins.
totally
Yeah.
like to force it into overtime. I was like, okay, so this is pretty competitive. There's no like clear cut people coming out on front. I think that was the biggest thing. I was missing a lot of like starts of other games because I was watching so much overtime.
Yeah. Like the Cardinals coming all the way back and beating the Raiders on Sunday.
Huge one, right?
Which I was really hoping we could just rip on Kyler Murray this whole time, but it didn't happen for us, Rob. It didn't happen.
Brian, over to you, my friend.
Well, I'm actually picking the Detroit Lions. Like I'm pretty shocked, especially their victory over the Commanders. That first half, they looked like the best team in the league. They were like, play calls, everything was going perfect, and like Jared Goff is looking more accurate now, which is also like good for the Lions. Yeah. And like I'm just such a Dan Campbell fan. Like I just want to see him do well because he just is so passionate, making the walk-on guy do the media conference first. Like he sent the practice squad guy. It's just things like that. Like I love Dan Campbell for doing that kind of stuff.
I've got a couple I already mentioned, and interject if you want to chime in on any of these. I already mentioned the debacle in Denver, like Russell Wilson looking completely lost, and Nathaniel Hackett looking even more lost.
Hot seat Nathaniel Hackett.
Yep, the Cincinnati Bengals 0-2.
Yeah.
Losing to Cooper Rush and the Dallas Cowboys. That was so frustrating to watch because as somebody who consumes a ton of pro sports, like of all different leagues, one of the things that is so frustrating, whether it be players or coaches or GMs or ownership, is ego. And like you can tell when like ego is getting in the way and causing problems. And the Dallas Cowboys, after the injury to Dak Prescott, when they played the Bengals on Saturday, you could tell that they went in there and they were like, okay, we've got Cooper Rush as our quarterback. So we've got he's not a superstar. So what do? They have a well-balanced offense. They're spreading the ball around. Yeah. They're getting everyone involved. And it's like, why don't you do this when Dak is the quarterback?
Yeah, exactly.
Because ego gets involved and everybody gets it's just like the same thing happened last year. Like, do you guys remember on Thursday Night Football last year, the Packers went to Arizona and they were down like 4 guys. Like they were down like Devontae and everyone was like, oh, they're ravaged with injuries. They're not going to win. And they ended up winning. You know why? Because they went in and they were like, oh, we're missing all these superstar guys. So we're going to have to spread the ball around, have a well-balanced offense and whatever, check our ego at the door. And it resulted in a win. And it drives me crazy watching these teams it's like, yes.
Yeah.
You set Cooper Rush up for success and you won the game. It's not that hard.
That's how you play football.
Yes, it's not that hard. It's not that hard.
Football.
And like his name is Cooper Rush and you lost to him. He's a quarterback that you lost to.
Yes. Well, the Bengals,
their offensive line is shambles.
Yeah.
Like Joe Burrow's running for his life. Like I don't really blame Joe. Like that he has 0 time. It's kind of like the Bills at one point last year. Remember how bad their offensive line was?
Yeah.
But I mean, at least Allen can move him. Like Joe Burrow's not as mobile.
Mm-hmm. One last thing I want to hit on. Through 2 weeks, are we ready to anoint the Philadelphia Eagles as potentially the best team in the NFC?
Not yet.
After this week.
Okay.
That's who I'm picking
not yet.
to watch. I want to keep an eye because if they win on week 3, I was like, they're getting there.
I saw a funny tweet about that too. It was like the United States cannot handle the infrastructure of a Bills-Eagles playoffs or Super Bowl. They're like, that'd be way too crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my God. The videos coming out of, where is the Super Bowl this year? It's in Arizona, I think.
Yeah, it's in Arizona.
The videos coming out of the stadium in Arizona, fans beating the hell out of each other.
Yeah.
In that Super Bowl would be.
Yeah.
It would be bad. It would be really bad.
Okay, so that's a great transition, DVD. So your game to watch this weekend is the Eagles at Commanders. You want to keep an eye?
I anticipate an easy win for them, so it might not be. I'm watching you to watch not watching it to see like stellar football competition on the gridiron.
I feel that. I like that.
Yeah, I'm watching it to watch players and movements and all this shit. So that's why I'm watching. I'm gonna be there with my notepad and like watching it and stuff. Yeah.
They should roll the Commanders.
They should.
Yes.
And I think it's like now they're into week 3. They've got a few W's under their belt. Like they're gonna be feeling good. They're gonna be feeling nice and settled. So.
Brian.
I'm going 49ers and Broncos. Because Jimmy G came in and looked decent.
Oh, that's
better than Trey Lance.
Yeah,
oh my God,
I'd like to put a pin in that because I was shooting the shit with some buddies and I was like, Jimmy G's coming back. Like, there's no way he's going to be sitting second fiddle, especially when we get close to playoff period and Aaron Rodgers' kryptonite has to kind of make a scene. So that's a good one, Brian.
I can't believe I forgot about that too. Again, coming back to this ego conversation. Like, why must Trey Lance work this year? Why? Like this team went from they may make the playoffs to a Super Bowl contender on Sunday when Trey Lance got hurt. And now
he
Jimmy
didn't
Garoppolo, who's been to a Super Bowl and holds a playoff win over Aaron Rodgers, is back under center, and this team is much scarier.
And he looked way better than Trey Lance. Like he didn't even practice with the team in all of the preseason games, and he looks way better.
Yes. That's a good one. Brian. That's a good.
So I'm interested to see how Nathaniel Hackett and Russell Wilson operate against Kyle Shanahan and his real team now. If Kittle comes back, then they're definitely a Super Bowl contender. So,
well, and you know what makes that game interesting too is the Broncos. The Broncos' problem is not their defense.
It's their offense. Their offense is a disaster.
Yes. So yes, that's a good one. I'm going to go with a interdivisional matchup: the Minnesota Vikings and against the Detroit Lions. I want to see how good the Vikings really are because I think they're going to beat the Lions, but
I don't know.
I don't think they're going to if the Vikings go out and roll the Lions. Then I'll be like, okay, the Vikings are legit, and they just ran into a buzzsaw Eagle team in week 2, and it is what it is. If they go out there and the Lions take them to the edge, and we see I think the Detroit Lions. I don't think the Lions are a playoff team. I think they're better than the Bears, but I think Dan Campbell, like we saw starting to happen last year, has got the Lions in a place where you're just not going to roll in there and kick their ass. Like
the Lions are the only team that they can lose by 3 points to anybody in the league. It could be like a good team. It could be a bad team. Doesn't matter. It could be the worst team in the league. They're going to lose by 3 points. They're very consistent that way. They're covering machines.
Yes. Also, one last thing too. Monday Night Football next week. Dallas Cowboys at New York. The undefeated New York Football Giants.
I kind of miss Brian Dable. I miss Dable.
I was going to say, we're all too familiar with Brian Dable. Has rolled in there and said, I'm going to make you into a legit quarterback, Daniel Jones.
And Saquon is looking pretty good in that offense too.
Yeah. Yes. So that's, man, God, I just love it. We're about to go into week 3 and there's already so many things across the league that are so interesting and so exciting.
It's going to be a hell of a year.
It is.
I mean, I agree. It's just everything is kind of there's been one thing at least every week or for every single game that shocked me, and it's just can't tell you what's going on.
I know. It's fantastic. All right, my friends, I think that's going to do it for us this week, and we will be back next week to review week 4. I can't believe, look at this. To review week 3 and tee up week 4. Yeah. Right? It's
it's
I know.
I move any fast.
I know. It was funny. I was my wife.
I was gonna say you're now wife.
Yeah. My wife has such a love-hate relationship with my love for the NFL because she loves the tradition of what we do on Sunday. She loves it's on my thing because I know that I just dominate the television all day. So I always make sure we have a good dinner going and all that kind of stuff. So I think she likes the tradition. But there's also a part of her that's this is 20 weeks of this. And I'm like, dude, it'll be here and gone before you know it. Before you know it, we'll be it's over already.
I try to give my wife the big TV, so I watch on like my iPad, my computer, and everything. I can have like Red Zone going. I can have an earbud in for one, another earbud in for the other. So it's kind of confusing for her to understand that, but that's why I let her just use the big TV.
What's your Sunday setup, DVD?
I was gonna say I might be maybe then the perfect girlfriend because my old ball and chain here is like we just watch football all day. That's all we get to do. It's like yes, that's all we're doing today.
Yes.
No, my setup is we generally have 2 TVs going. We got one in the kitchen near like the bar area, which is got the sports bar. So there's something going on there, and then there's another one on the main TV. And a lot of garbage, a lot of like chips, pops, beers. Sometimes there's shots. You never know.
Yep.
Never know.
Usually there's shots for.
Usually, I'm pretty much a piece of shit. So yeah. Shots.
I like to start my day off with like maybe like some sort of cocktail sometimes.
Or like a nice like delicious coffee, like a Bailey's and espresso.
Oh yes.
More fancy than just Bailey's and espresso.
Yeah. I go like Spanish coffee sometimes, a little whiskey in there.
Ooh,
yep.
That's nice.
Oh yeah.
I've gotten into the bourbon and coffee game with a little bit of cream. It's like a warm hug for your liver.
That would be good.
Yeah.
You know what I've got into recently? There's this thing. It's on like the secret menu at Starbucks, but it's just taken over my entire life, and it's called the caramel apple spice. Oh,
nice.
Really?
I highly recommend. There's no caffeine in this drink. It's just like heated up apple juice with some cream and caramel. It's the best thing I've ever had. It tastes like an apple pie. And I've just been going there every day getting a grande. My wife told me about it, and I was like, "What have you done to me?"
Yeah.
I
so
love
we're gonna
me
play
good.
a game to see how many LBs Brian gains by the end of the.
Oh,
it's since we started last year, it's been a few. You can't really see past this point, but it's not been good.
No, I'm right there with you, buddy. I'm right
with the burger page with all this shit now.
Oh yeah. When this time of year rolls around too, it's like it's not good for
it's another 10 pounds right there.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, it's getting cold. I'll stay inside and then watch college ball or CFL on Friday. Who knows, right?
CFL. Shout out CFL.
Shout out to CFL for all our American
Yes. Yes. And you know what? It does. It still exists. And it's.
When does it end? Is it over now or is it?
When does it end? Never.
When does it end?
We're stuck forever.
I haven't even seen it on TV.
Yeah, no, the Grey Cup is usually like mid-November.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And
I always like
Sunday, so they generally compete with everything else.
I always assumed they would just finish that before NFL because like why would you want to compete with because like I'm just thinking NFL now. I don't know, but in the summertime I'll gladly watch whatever football. I don't really care.
Yeah.
Ryan, if there's even one person in Western Canada watching this right now, they're like
they're coming for us.
Oh yeah.
They're coming for you.
We lost a viewer.
We're canceled now.
Yes.
Sorry, Edmonton.
But speaking of Instagram, we do have an Instagram account. So the person over there from Western Canada hit me up on the DMs.
Yeah.
You are going to have Edmonton Elk fans just in your mentions.
Wait, the Elk? What is that?
They're called the Elks. They rebranded.
Okay.
Their previous name wasn't too kosher.
That wasn't a great name.
Yeah, do you live under a rock?
Well, I guess I don't really pay attention. I know they still have the EE, so I guess it works.
Yeah. They're basically the Washington Commanders.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Although I will say Edmonton Elks is far better than Washington Commanders.
Yeah, Commanders is a horror. Like the Washington football team was so badass.
Was totally fine. Yes, was totally fine. You could have just left it. Again, ego gets in the way, and we got to come up with some stupid name. That sounds like an arena football team. All right, my friends, I'm getting worked up, and I actually might go make a cocktail now after talking about one. I kind of got a hankering on for it. So, as Brian mentioned, we are now on Instagram. Head on over and give us a follow. The link to the Instagram will be in the description below. And like and subscribe if you haven't already. We're going to start pumping out Leaf content this week as well. So keep an eye out for that. And we will see you guys next week.